Flosstube. Welcome back. Daily Crafty Chat, Monday, March 23rd. My name's Caroline. Thanks for joining me today. Crafty podcast, mostly about cross stitching. This is primarily a Flosstube channel with a little bit of knitting and some sewing thrown in for good measure. Welcome back. I did not put out a video yesterday. I've decided not to do a daily video on Sundays. In the near future, for however long these daily videos keep up, I haven't run out of things to say yet, so I don't foresee that happening since I love talking about crafts. Okay, so every Monday I do a giveaway called the Because Monday giveaway, because we could all use a little bit of extra something special to look forward to on Monday. You can find these giveaways over on the Facebook group, which is called Friday Off the Grid, and I always post this particular giveaway there every Monday. So just look for a picture of it, and you can just leave me a comment below. No other rules other than you're a member of the Friday Off the Grid group. That's it. So last week's, and I wrote down the winner. Oh, there it is. Wanted to make sure. Nicholas, my son, helped me choose the number this morning and the winner. He helped me count the comments and pick the right one. Last week's chart for giveaway was Little House Needleworks friendship chart, and this was sent to me by Teal, and I had a copy myself already. So this one, thanks to Teal, I get to send out to another lucky stitcher. These little sheep virtues are so sweet. So I'm sorry, this does not come with the button. This does not come with the, it's a bird, right? Yeah, bird. I thought it was a sheep for a minute. Terrible vision. It is a bird button. I do not have a bird button to go with this. It's just the chart. However, I'm sure you could either sub in whatever you wanted, or you could even stitch your own little bird in place there. It wouldn't be all that difficult to figure out. Okay. So I had 248 comments for this chart, and the random number generator chose number 221. So congratulations, Denise McLean. You are the lucky winner of the Little House Needleworks friendship chart. And I will be sending this out in the mail next Monday. So more information about that when I do the shop update at the end. Okay, so congratulations, Denise. I hope you enjoy your new chart. Which leads me to this week's giveaway. I have another Little House Needleworks chart to give away. And this one actually is from my stash. And I hemmed and hawed about this one because I really like this chart. But I have several that are similar to this idea you'll see in a minute. And so I think this is such a sweet chart, and I think someone out there will just want to stitch this immediately. And so instead of it sitting in my stash for a little bit longer, so it's a brand new chart, I haven't stitched it, I think I'm going to send it out into the world. So this is chart number 150 from Little House Needleworks, One More Stitch. I really do like this chart. But I have several charts with similar sentiments, and it's copyright 2016. I'm pretty positive I purchased this when it first came out, and I haven't stitched it yet. So I'm going to send it out to someone else who might get to it a little sooner than me. I can always buy it again, right? I can always buy it again. So of course, whoever I send it to, if you start stitching it right away, make sure you post pictures and tag me in them, and then I'll want to just buy the chart all over again, most likely. Anyways, okay, so this is the giveaway for today. And again, you can find that over on the Facebook group, Friday Off the Grid. Okay, so I have some knitting progress to share with you. Sock progress. I'm going to start with my big gray sock. This is the second sock, just because I like to show off my finished object. Here's the first sock. I'm making these for my father-in-law. I haven't told you about the yarn in a while. This is a This is a very affordable yarn from Knit Picks, which is an online yarn company, knitpicks.com. And it was a, it's from the Hawthorne fingering sock yarn. So quite affordable, very, very nice, good quality yarn for what it costs. I think it's value, good value. So I completed, like I set my goal, I completed the heel flap of sock number 2. So I think I had about a third, maybe just under a third of the heel flap done last time I shared it on Saturday, and that is now complete, ready to turn the heel. That's the next step. If you're following, now here's just a side note about sock knitting. Many of you know by now that I have a knitting playlist over on my playlist section of this channel, and I have a whole whack of knitting tutorials starting right from scratch, leading all the way through to socks. The one small video that really is missing from that tutorial that I should somehow squeeze in there, I kind of glossed over the heel turn, this next step that I'm about to do. So I did the flap, I talked about the gusset decreases, but I think in the video where I was talking about the heel flap and gusset, I just sort of glossed over the heel turn and said, okay, and now do the heel turn, and then we'll talk about the gusset stitches, because I made a very rookie teaching mistake in assuming that people would simply be able to follow the instructions in the pattern that goes along with this sock, instead of looking at it through the eyes of a beginner who might need just a little bit more help. So if you are following that tutorial series and you come to this part of the sock, the heel turn, there is an extra little video right now on the Facebook group, Learn to Knit Socks with Us, that goes along with the whole tutorial series for this sock and Louise's, my friend Louise's pattern. She did an extra little tutorial and we stuck it in the Facebook group last year. And I, as of yet, have to figure out how to actually get that onto my channel and insert it in the playlist, and I just haven't done it yet. I've had a few other things on the go. And if you have asked me questions recently, I know I've had 2 questions in the last week on sock knitting. I did answer those questions on your comment, but if you have replied to me, I can't find them again. The way that YouTube comments works, they just all come to me in order that people write them. So if you leave me a comment on a video that happened last year, I will see it when it first comes in, but then I will reply to it. If you reply to my reply, it doesn't come in as a new message. It stays down there, and in the meantime I've probably had like 100 more comments. And so unless I think to scroll and go back and check to see if you replied to me, because when you get so many YouTube comments, my spam filter tends to filter out the notification, and I don't generally go in and read all of the emails that say you have a YouTube comment notification. There's just too many. So if I have missed a reply from you, or you needed further explanation on anything to do with sock knitting, probably best just to email me, caroline@evertote.com. I get a lot of emails as well, but I do my best. I try to answer everybody. You have to remember that I get messaging on Facebook Messenger, Instagram on 2 accounts, my personal Off the Grid Needlearts account, also Evertote's account. I get email to my Evertote account, I get Gmail, and then then there's YouTube comments as well. So I try really hard to keep up answering everybody, but it is just me. So if I haven't answered you, please try to know that it is not on purpose. And I do appreciate every single comment and question. I really, really try hard, but it is one of the reasons why I can't go in and comment on every single YouTube comment, because I'd never be able to make videos, because I'd just be chatting all day long on comments. I wouldn't get anything done. Trust me, I wouldn't get anything done, because I would just chat all day long, because it's fun. Okay, so my sock. Tonight I will try to turn the heel. We'll see. We'll see if I get to that. Briefly, because I know more sock knitting, but because I'm just so thrilled with this stripy sock, I want to show you. I knit 2.5 more stripes. since the last time I shared it with you. So I finished the red, the gold, and actually I'm almost on the white stripe too, so almost 3 full stripes. So this sock, I'm going to finish the white stripe, then I'm going to do another red and another gold. So 2 more full stripes, and then I'm going to put the heel in, because the heel yarn that I have is green. It's the same green that's in the stripe. And obviously I don't want to have a green stripe right next to the heel. I want to break that up a little bit. So, and it works well with measurements that I generally like for the length of the leg of the sock. Okay, that's it. That's it for knitting, I promise. Promise. I love sock knitting. It's so fun. Thank you for humoring me, stitchers and knitters, multi-craftual people. You get me. You all get me. You're here visiting, so you understand. Okay, moving on to some stitching. I worked on pretty much 3 other things since Saturday. So the first thing that I worked on, and I'm not going to bother showing it to you today because it's kind of boring, but you remember the Red House sampler, the Brenda Keys, the Sampler House Red House sampler. I finished the border, the green ivy border. What I'll do is at the end of this video, if I remember, I'll just put in a picture of what I stitched, because that's all I did. I just finished the green vine all the way over, and I started curving up the right hand side of the chart. So that felt like you know, ticking a box, making, you know, finishing, getting to the right hand side. So I now have the measurement of the complete bottom of the chart. Next thing that I want to finish is the outlining of all of the flowers, the flower motifs, and then I want to color them in, and then I'll probably put that work in progress away for a little while. The next thing that I worked on that I think is probably going to stay out for a little while, because this piece just, I say it every time, this piece brings me joy. This is Sivan by Landmark Tapestries and Charts. I'm not going to bother unrolling it because I showed it unrolled on Saturday's video. I just wanted to show you my progress. So you can see I did some fill-in work with black, you know, pretty much across the board. I did some 310 fill-in, and then I completed the little center motif right there, this one, and then I worked my way up this sort of greenish teal border of that inner motif. And so that's what I'd like to do next, is actually finish the outlining on this, because that makes a lot of the counting work for the other fill-in in the side sections here. It makes it a lot easier. That's what makes these charts really just sort of comfort stitching, because you can, once you get into the groove of it, you can ignore the pattern and just stitch. However, I have to remember that there's a little blip right here. This is actually the halfway point right here. And this motif right here is the end of this section that comes up here. There is a circular gold motif that happens here, and then this is basically flipped upside down, mirror image, and then this is all stitched again up here. But there is something different that has to happen here, and of course mirrored over on the other side there. And so I have to check that I don't mess that up, because I have done that before. I've completed 5 of these charts, and one of them I did exactly. I wasn't paying attention, and I just kept on stitching. I think I was on holiday, and I was just enjoying myself so much that I didn't look at the chart, I didn't double check it, and I ended up stitching almost the entire border all the way up here. Like, imagine this band, probably about this wide, and I just kept going and going and going and going and going. And then at the end of the vacation, I looked at the chart, and I had to rip the whole thing out. Every single stitch that I had done on vacation, I had to rip it all out. I had, like, this was about this wide, and I had to rip it down all the way back. that was a little heartbreaking. However, I persevered, I ripped it out. This is an Ada. It's a 16 count natural Ada. You can see there's a little bit of, it's not white, it's just off color like a natural Ada. 16 count, I'm using 2 strands of DMC, the called for colors for this chart. And when I had to rip all of that out, I did have some fuzz left, clearly because these charts are quite dense, and you know, DMC, when you have to shred out that much, it's going to leave some behind. And I think I just used some tape. You just wrap tape backwards around your hand, and then I just patted down gently the fabric to, and it just lifts that residue right off, instead of washing it, of course, which might have left some staining. So that just removes those fibers from the area that you've picked out. And then if you just gently, you know, just very gently sort of not rough it up, but when you're doing that with the tape, those holes mostly go back into shape, and then you're just stitching over it anyways. So you couldn't really tell that I'd had to rip out such a huge section. Okay, so I'm going to be getting back to that. Whoops. Oh, and I always get asked, so in case you're new here, this is a Kay's Creations lap frame. I use it all the time. This is probably my favorite lap frame, and I have a couple of them. In fact, I have 3 of them. One of them was my daughter's, and because I had bought one for the cottage to leave there instead of having to keep going back and forth with it, and I had bought one for my daughter, and she stopped stitching a number of years ago, and so I took over hers as well. But it's still hers, so if she decides she would like to stitch again, I will have to give it back to her. So this is a Kay's Creation lap frame. I love these scroll rods. They have like a, what do you call that? That kind of twill, duck twill, or some kind of, it's like a, oh, words have escaped me, but it's a thick material that you just baste your stitching to. And I'm not overly fussy about tension. You can see that? It's not overly taut, like say some people who have the Millennium or the Omnic frames. I know that those tension, they can really, you know, sort of ratchet up the tension and have it sort of drum tight. That's never really bothered me. But some tips and tricks for getting really good tension on the scroll rods is to make sure that your fabric is as straight as possible when you attach it, when you baste it to the fabric strip. Make sure it's as straight as possible. And also, if you tuck some batting in, like just a layer of batting, quilt batting, or some kind of something along the part that you're rolling up. And as you can tell, I haven't done it for this, but I have done it on my little red house sampler, you know, the one I was just talking about before. I have done it on that, and you can then, that allows you some a little bit more control over really tightening it a little bit better. If your fabric isn't 100% absolutely straight, then you can tweak it a little bit with that. So yeah, Kay's Creations lap frame, and my floor frame is a Hearthside Craftworks from Calgary, Alberta, and I have a video, episode 55, I think, has a little blurb about that. I think they're still shipping out stands at the moment. The world is a topsy-turvy place right now at the moment. Anyways, love my floor frames and my lap frames. I'm not a stitch in hand girl. I just can't do it. I have recently tried the, is it up here still? Yeah. The hoop, Hardwick Manor hoop. I really did like this, but I found that I was using it so much that it started to bother my thumb, even though it's nice and light. So I would still, if I were to continue using something like this, I would have to put it in a Lowry frame to hold it or something. I just can't continue to hold stuff in this hand and stitch with it. It just aggravates that thumb too much. But I did like the hoop. I have to say, I did really like the hoop. Okay, last but not least thing that I worked on was my Seasons Counted Canvas needlepoint project. And this is by Amy Bear Needlepoints. This project sadly is no longer available for purchase. Amy Bear, according to Sylvia, she stopped designing in 2013. Again, I'm going back on my memory from Sylvia left me a comment a couple of days ago. Hi, Sylvia. But isn't it beautiful? It's so beautiful. I have to be really careful with this because, again, remember what I was just saying about my hand? I have been holding this in my hand. Now I'm going to show you, and then I'm actually going to take a little close-up video of the stitches so that you can see them, because look, I've almost completed step 4, which is the, actually if I just hold it up nice and close, then I won't have to take an extra video. You can see those beautiful woven stitches. I love them so much. So as you can see, I only have one more triangle of woven stitches left to do before step number 4 is complete. And I have not checked what step number 5 is. I'm saving it. So because this is such a large frame, I have been able to hold it like this against my chest, and I have been able to sort of hold it. I've been stitching this in bed. Anybody else stitch in bed? I love stitching in bed. A little bit of Flosstube on my iPad, coffee on my bedside table. I love it. It's kind of a guilty pleasure. So good trick for counted canvas work is to write which side is the top. With these geometric designs, it is easy to lose track of which side is up. So just having that little reminder there helps you orient the pattern, which I love. So yeah, those woven stitches almost done, just number 4. And then I'm moving on. So like I said, because I do have to hold the frame in my hand, and sometimes I hold it like here, but sometimes I find myself grabbing it from the side, I've been trying to take this in little bite-sized bits of work and not overdo it. So 1 or 2 motifs a day, and then put it aside and save it until the next day. But I am finding this, someone said that I light up when I talk about my canvas work, and it's true. I thought about that. I thought that's a really nice thing to say, and in fact it's an absolutely accurate observation. To the woman who sent me this pattern as a gift, Laura, she left me a comment. She's really quite pleased that I've brought it out and I'm working on it again. And Laura, again, thank you 2 years ago for sending me this amazing pattern. I am just it's bringing me tremendous joy and great distraction. So thank you very much. Okay, so that's it. I'm hoping when I'm done this, I'll be able to pass it along with any leftover supplies that I have with it. It might not be enough to do the whole thing, but at least it might get somebody started. So encouragement coming my way to finish this a little bit sooner, always appreciated. Okay, so that's it for what I was working on. That was quite a bit, I think. I think I accomplished a fair bit. The only thing left to chat about is shop update for my bags. At www.evertote.com, make project bags for crafters, and I have a little bit of a shop update coming. I'm going to do that shop update on Wednesday. So this coming Wednesday, which is March 25th, the video that I put out on March 25th, it will be a shop update video. So it's kind of crafty chat, but it's sort of, it's for my business. So if you are not interested in that, then you might want to just give Wednesday a skip. Also, if you're trying to be careful with pennies right now and don't want to be tempted, this is just letting everybody know Wednesday is going to be a shop update video. I am releasing the kit on Wednesday that I'm putting out with Tiny Modernist, a pattern by Tiny Modernist Cheryl, and also a beautiful chainmail zipper pull from Carrie, the creative curator, all the way from Australia. And I have them already. I love them. I can't wait to share them with you. So I I know that I had said previously, after I released the Alice collection with Michelle Bendy, I had said that I wouldn't do another pre-order. Well, this is going to have to be a pre-order because things being what they are, I am now working from home with a house full of people, as are many of you, and we just have to adapt and do our best. And so I can only do so much every day because I still need to be there for my son, who I think I've mentioned, if left to his own devices, would spend the entire day plugged into his iPad grazing from the fridge. So I do need to I need to keep a handle on you know, making sure that his brain is being fed as well, and I just, you know, it's a tricky time. So this is going to be a pre-order. It will be up live on Wednesday, and I'll explain a little bit more details about how it will work on Wednesday. I'm super excited to share it with you. I can't wait. So look forward to that. I look forward to that, I should say. And tomorrow will just be another regular daily crafty update, and I can share what I work on tonight. I have a feeling it'll be a little bit more of the same. So that's it for me today. Happy stitching, everybody. Stay healthy. Stay at home if you are able to. If you're an essential worker, I said this on Saturday, I'm going to say this again. Thank you for, truly thank you for having to go out and do your job. Pam, big shout out to Pam. Pam's Crafty Corner out in Newfoundland. She's a dispatcher. She is an essential worker, and she had a reminder for us all to stay at home, and if you are able to. So thank you to those who can't. I will see you tomorrow. Happy stitching, everybody. Take care. See you then.